Tomb Raider is absolutely a classic, and now I understand why I never left Croft Manor as a kid. The original adventure boils my piss like no other. I don't usually get angry playing games, but this one made me want to put Lara's head through a wall. Let's find out why. Originally released in '96, it's one of the first 3D action-adventure games. It deserves all the credit it gets for pioneering the genre. Lara Croft became an icon overnight and inspired games like Uncharted for years to come. When Nathan Drake hit the scene, the cool kids called him Dude Raider, which is an unfair comparison to Tomb Raider. I think people remember this game playing a lot differently than it actually plays. This isn't a fast-paced action game with lots of puzzles. It's slow, lonely, and there aren't really any puzzles. It's more about exploring than anything else, so why did it make me so angry? It's the game's fault. I know what you're thinking it's a skill issue, but hear me out. The game was one of the worst tutorials I've ever played. It actively made my experience worse. Those of you who've played the game are probably thinking, I remember it being quite charming. You're in Croft Manor and Lara talks to you as she gives you a tour of the house. When you get to different parts of the house, she'll tell you how to perform different actions, like climb and jump. It is a really cute way to start the game, if it worked. I got incredibly unlucky where Lara only gave tutorials for some of the moves. This game is all about precise movement, so not knowing certain moves led to infuriating moments. So for example, you can jump forward from a standstill. I didn't know it, so I kept jumping into walls because I was always doing a running jump. Or she didn't tell me she could walk through spikes to avoid damage. Or she could drop and grab onto a ledge. This led to the first few hours of the game pissing me off way more than it should have, and tainted my overall opinion of the game. Eventually I found out all the moves and I did start to enjoy the game more. This tutorial hiccup should not be happening in a remaster that's been updated multiple times. Apparently it's still quite a common glitch. This could have been resolved if they include a manual for the original somewhere on the menu. This should be standard for remasters of such old games. I'll try not to let it hinder my thoughts of the game going forward, but it need to be said as it was my experience playing the game. I'll try to be a bit more positive and talk about something I liked, the story and Lara. It's a very typical adventure story. Lara's looking for the scions of Atlantis, which are hidden all across the world. But also Natla, the rich bad guy, is looking for him as well, so it's a race for who can find them first, with a supernatural twist towards the end. Very Indiana Jones and Uncharted. It's not a great story, but it works well. Lara herself stops the story from becoming too boring. She is characterised very differently from the later entries. She's adventuring because she enjoys it, she clearly doesn't need the money. It's a welcome change to her crying about her dad every game or film, or shouting Jonah! It's the only thing I can remember of the reboot trilogy. It's fun to watch a badass woman be badass. She kills a T-Rex in basically the first level, how is that not badass? The cutscenes are few and far between, but each one focuses on Lara being as cool as possible. From shooting walls with dual pistols, or blowtorch an elevator rope to carry her up. And of course she does all this whilst wearing sunglasses for the extra coolness. My favourite moment for her is when she gets captured by the henchman and casually says, afternoon? She's always calm even when in danger. We don't need to see a vulnerable side to her like modern games feel legally obligated to with their protagonist. I'm very happy they didn't touch the cutscenes. They have not aged well, everyone looks like a Roblox character and textures are blurry. It's funny to think this was mind-blowing for the time. It gets more charming as time goes on. They hold up well enough, it's not like they're ugly, just old. The other thing that holds up well is the atmosphere. It's still incredible. The game manages to feel mysterious in a way new games just don't. Lara is alone for these levels, no guy talking on the radio, no Lara talking to herself, no objective markers, no map and barely any music. Just Lara in an ancient, long-forgotten area with no clue where to go. You will feel lost a lot. Levels are massive and go on for what feels like ages. The only way out is to pay attention and explore. When I got lost, it usually wasn't the game's fault. I'd missed a switch or ignored a corner. Tomb Raider trusts the player more than modern games. There is no hand-holding, like if you flip a switch 80% of the time, the game will not tell you what it does. Does it open a door? You're going to have to go around and check. You will have to notice if something is different in the room. Does this get annoying? Yeah, sometimes, but the levels are designed well enough where you shouldn't be doing lots of backtracking. Or you can't backtrack far because you can't climb back up. The levers normally do something nearby. If not, they'll show you what door opened. They normally do this for timed doors, which is a good bit of help. All this means the level design has to be on point. It is for the most part. I can only think of one bad level and that's the cistern. It's the game's water temple. You can raise and lower the water level. It's a neat idea but can become confusing. You can backtrack through the entire level and all of it looks the same besides the main room. If you know what you're doing, you probably only need to raise and lower the water once. But first time through you won't know when to do it or where to go. It took me longer than it should have. At least the other levels avoid this problem. My favourite has to be St. Francis Folly. This level has a single vertical tower with 4 doors leading to different challenges based on 4 gods, like Thor and Neptune. So Thor's room has lightning you have to dodge, and Neptune's room has water. It was a cool idea executed well. It was clear what I had to do to progress and was satisfying to complete all the rooms. I did fall to my death way too many times because of the platforming. This is the main thing you'll be doing. The sooner you understand the grid system, the sooner you will enjoy the game. It's easier to notice in the old graphics. Everywhere is broken up into squares. Lara can only jump so many squares. You should know if you can make a jump by looking at it, and counting the squares. You can only grab on the ledges if you face them head on. Every jump you make needs to be calculated. The game is built around precision. This is why the old control screen works better. Lara moves like a tank, but this will help you get in position easier. If nothing else, this remaster will teach players why older games had different controls. I played with the new modern controls, and it took a bit of getting used to. They work well for the most part. There's one simple thing that annoys the shit out of me. When you press left, Lara will go forward, then left. Why? It leads to me falling off so many blocks. I don't understand why it does this. You'll see me wiggling on a block to get into position. It feels wrong. Once you get used to the controls and understand the grid system, the game will click. But this doesn't stop some jumps from feeling overly punishing. On bigger jumps you'll have to time the jumps perfectly, there is no room for error. In the back of my mind I can't help but keep thinking Nathan Drake would have made that jump. The camera can also be an issue sometimes, typical for older games. In this series I always run into a situation where I can make it through fine the first time, no problem. If I have to go through the same platform again, I just can't do it. It really ticks me off. Because of this, it led me to saving before every jump, which didn't feel good, but I had to do it for my sanity. This is where I was expecting to talk about the puzzle design, but there aren't really any. The level is the puzzle. You figuring out where to go and what levels to hit is it. There is nothing wrong with this, but it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought this series was famous for its puzzles, but I guess not. Whilst I'm still talking about the levels, I really enjoyed the Atlantis twist. You think water, don't you? Tomb Raider is like, no, how about a flesh pyramid instead? It feels otherworldly and a welcome surprise. It almost turns into a horror game. It somehow looks better here than it did in Anniversary. The unfinished business levels are also some of my favourites, purely because it turned into Dark Souls 2. You can feel the level's creators laughing at you when they spawn another boulder to crush you. Unfortunately, this brings us to the worst part of the game, the combat. It's bad and clunky. If this game took out all the combat, I would have enjoyed it way more. Every little part of it annoys me. Lara will lock onto enemies when they are close, you can't switch targets. The thing that irritates me the most is she will stay locked onto dead enemies. You can only switch by putting your guns away and bring them back out. It's so unintuitive. Maybe it's just old they couldn't have figured it out. Then you fight enemies that explode when they die. She will then switch targets because there is no corpse to aim at. So she can do it, but she really wants to shoot a corpse. The remaster should have changed it so the corpses don't register as an enemy. Lara also shoots faster sometimes, which is really helpful, but she only consistently does it when shooting a dead enemy. She has such a hard time for shooting dead creatures. I don't know how to make her shoot faster, it seems random. Next to her is the movement. The game wants you to jump around like an idiot while shooting to avoid enemies. It feels odd. Lara also only shoots in front of her. You can see her slightly turn to shoot enemies, but I feel like she could turn more, but she refuses to do it. You're better off getting to a vantage point and shooting. This is boring but it works. Or you can have the tried and true measure of jumping on the spot and shooting. It looks stupid but it's better than jumping around. Lara will stay locked onto an enemy no matter how far they go, and will only fire if she can land a shot. The boring way is the safer way. The enemies are also annoying. They tend to run far away once you shoot them like they're some wild animals. Oh wait, I guess most of them are, that makes sense. This makes the combat go on for way longer than it needs to. The bosses are also terrible. Just standing still and shooting them worked for me. Only for the T-Rex I actually have to move about. I have plenty of resources so tanking damage is never an issue. This is because how the remaster works. It encourages you to save scum, which doesn't feel right. Levels hide tons of ammo and health for you to find, but it's all rendered useless by the save system. You can save whenever you want, how many times you want. I feel like a checkpoint system would have made more sense. The save system makes the game too easy as it is now. I know the original had save crystals which people hated. These let you save them once and there were few in each level. Having a save crystal system would feel more in line with the game's design, but maybe the remaster could have added way more of them to keep players happy. Speaking of the remaster, the game does look better for sure, while staying faithful to the original. Lara looks way better, she has the same design but it's her 2000s face. Textures look more realistic. They look the exact same but aren't pixelated anymore. Environments also are a bit more detail. So before when it was a flat texture of vines, now the vines are actually 3D and sticking out. It's a nice non-intrusive change. The only thing that is questionable is the lighting. The remaster has dynamic lighting and it looks pretty good, but sometimes the original looks better to me. The original feels more vibrant and darker areas feel better than the remaster. Like in Egypt, this cat's blocks look gold, but in the remaster it looks more like sand. I'm really glad you can switch between both of them seamlessly. Ultimately, I'm really glad I finally got to experience this classic. It has aged pretty well. It has a completely different design philosophy to modern games. It doesn't hold your hand and doesn't seem to care if you finish it. A very welcome change. But it does have some massive flaws like the combat. I'm hoping the series gets better as it goes on. I remember really enjoying Croft Manor in Tomb Raider 2. This was a really good start to the franchise, but there's definitely room for improvement. This game can be frustrating, awkward and brutal, and honestly that's part of why it's memorable. Time to rank it. Even though I respected the game more by the end, I still kinda know how frustrating parts of it were. I'm going to accept the person who bought this game for me. This is their favourite series. I'm feeling number 51. I found this game less frustrating overall compared to Silent Hill F. Both had annoying combat, but Tomb Raider was slightly less annoying. Lara was also way cooler than Hinako. But I can't put her above Devil May Cry Reboot. That game had a wank story, but at least the gameplay was enjoyable throughout, unlike Tomb Raider. New number 51. At least this Lara actually likes tombs.